Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, the new home of power mining analysis. Well, it's official. Bitcoin Nashville 2024 is now in the rearview mirror. Anthony Power and I had an absolutely phenomenal time at the conference. We're so excited to tell you all about it in today's video. But before we do, please take a second, smash the like button, you guys. It's a big help to myself and the channel. Anthony loves it. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to join. And let us know in the comment section below what you thought of the conference if you're in attendance and some of the key remarks that were made this weekend. Now with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Anthony and I have made it back home. We are following up on a weeks-long adventure to Nashville, Tennessee, where we went to the Bitcoin conference and saw our very own President Donald Trump speak for the first time ever at an official Bitcoin event. So Anthony, welcome back. Glad you made it home safely. How are you feeling about this awesome trip that we just concluded last week?
I'm feeling great actually, and just for clarification purposes, when you say our president, you're a Canadian and I'm a Brit. How the hell is he our president? He's their president. We've
Fair
got our own
enough.
we've got our own problems with our leaders. Never mind the US. It's like, but saying that, it was great to be 50 feet away from him in the audience, and I thought he did I'm going to say he did a tremendous speech because he knows a tremendous amount about Bitcoin and everything he says is tremendous. So, there you go. And the other one I'd like to highlight was the day before was Robert Kennedy's speech. I thought that was exceptional. I think the guy has an understanding of Bitcoin and also crypto. And the fact that he's changed most of his net worth into Bitcoin speaks volumes for somebody coming on the stage and talking about it. And the President Trump actually was issued his first Bitcoin on the at the event. The Bitcoin conference rallied together and they gave him a minted Bitcoin, so one whole Bitcoin. So he's a full Bitcoiner now. And let's hope he sorts of maybe put some more of his net worth into Bitcoin going forward.
Hey, I'm glad you brought up RFK Jr. because I thought between the two speeches, his was actually better in terms of
Yeah.
Bitcoin focused. You could tell he's done his research, he's read, he's done his homework on Bitcoin, blockchain, and the impacts. We also got to see a number of other key players in the space. So Kathy Wood, we met Gary Cardone, obviously Natalie Brunell, Edward Snowden, and of course, Michael Saylor, which I was able to grab a picture with, Anthony. So really top voices in the Bitcoin and finance worlds, all convening on Nashville. Now, there was about 20,000 people at the event. So the first day, Anthony and I went around at Industry Day. We met up with most of the vendors. A lot of our partnering companies were actually there. So that was great to meet them in person. I had my speech or my moderation on the first day as well, Anthony. Yours was on the Friday. Can you tell us a little bit about the event itself, aside from the speakers, some of the events we went to, the after parties, and just the general feeling you got from the audience this year at the convention?
First thing that stands out for me is actually the people that go to these events, no matter who they are, they're all extremely approachable and welcoming. And, we're all there for the same reason. We're all there to support Bitcoin. And it was evident from everyone we interacted with, whether it was a follower, whether it was a speaker, whether it was a Michael Saylor, they were all very, very welcoming with their time. I had an opportunity even before I got to the event. I was on a flight with Max and Stacy, Max Kaiser, who's an OG in the space, and he spent the best part of 90 minutes talking to me just about a number of topics like that, and so really great to see his insight in the space there. And I've listened to many of his podcasts before, so he was very recognizable. And I managed to grab a photo at the event. I didn't want to trouble him on the plane or anything like that, but I met him again on sort of day 3 at the event and had a photograph there. What I'll say is from a sort of like, because the president was coming on a Saturday, there was a lot of rehearsals about that visit. So security was extremely high standard. I mean, effectively, you could say you were going into an airport terminal. That's the way to envisage it, really. And on the Saturday, you couldn't take anything with you apart from what you were wearing. I mean, there were people leaving bags outside with any bottles, no chance. So it really was the sort of like TSO sort of like security there. Secret Service were extremely obvious during the event as well. I mean, with regards to what happened just over a week ago at one of his speeches where he was shot. You could see that the security had significantly upped its game, and we were able to see from our hotel room exactly, some of the things that they were doing when they arrived and things like that, because our hotel was adjacent to the conference itself, and we were on like the 20th floor of the hotel, so we had a great view of the building. But no, it was extremely good. I mean, the conference itself is like, runs sort of like 9 o'clock till say 5 p.m. on a daily basis each day. So there's a number of stages, probably like 4 or 5 different stages. You and me were on the mining stage, which actually is probably the second biggest stage of the event. There's a number of stages, even in the VIP area. There's like an intimate stage there where a number of great speakers like Russell Brand and Michael Saylor did fireside chats there to VIPs who paid. I mean, we came across a few people who paid $22,000 for a ticket to go to this event. And I think, Bryce, did you mention something about a family had paid a lot of money to go to the event?
Yeah, it's just the amount of wealth you can see in these type of events, you guys. So we had whale passes because we were both speakers. So those originally started out in the $10,000 range. Then, oh, you still got yours on. Then when Trump was announced, those increased to 22,000. And you're right, Anthony. I saw a gentleman there ran a family office. Not only had he purchased the $22,000 wristband, he had bought one for his wife and his 2 kids that couldn't be much older than mine. They were sitting there watching their iPad. So I thought that must be really nice to have $88,000 just to throw around for your kids to come watch an iPad. Speaking about OGs in the Bitcoin space and wealth, we also got the pleasure of meeting Jimmy Song, which is one of the top experts in the world on Bitcoin, and a guy by the name of Ghost. So you talk about wealth, Anthony. If you look at the ring, the chain, the fact that this Ghost character had 4 of his own personal security guards for the entire weekend, just absolutely mind-blowing. The vehicles as well, Anthony, we must have seen 10 Cybertrucks wrapped in Bitcoin and Dogecoin. It's sure inspiring coming from a smaller Canadian city to go to these world-class events, see the amount of intelligence, the amount of wealth, all consolidated or condensed into one room. It sure gave me a renewed optimism for Bitcoin, and the old saying, you're not bullish enough. When you're sitting in a room with this many high net worth individuals, it's really difficult to imagine that all of them are off base and have all come to Bitcoin for some reason that isn't a long-term view, right? And if you've caught Michael Saylor's speech, he talked about time decay of different assets over certain year spans or periods, and the fact that Bitcoin outlives any other asset class by a mile, comparing it to a 10,000-year investment where a lot of traditional asset classes like cash, real estate, gold just don't even come anywhere close. So for me, it was very invigorating, very exciting to meet how big of a world there is in the Bitcoin community, and really nice to meet each one of our customers or vendors in real life. So for the first portion, Anthony, we actually walked around to each one of these stalls. We were able to meet a number of our clients on the channel here. Were there any booths or displays that stood out to you?
Oh, there's a few. I mean, if you remember the IREN stand, it had an automated coffee maker, robotics, and so we didn't get our coffee because the queue was significant for that one there. But there was some really great stands there. I mean, actually, part of me thought we'd gone to Comic Con you know, looking at some of the people there with the outfits they had on, and talking about, you know, that chap you mentioned there. I thought, you know, it's something out of a Marvel film, with his mask and everything like that. But yeah, he has security around him for the whole 3 days. I don't know, you know, I mean, obviously he wants to remain anonymous, but he could have put a wig on and just mixed in with everybody in a hat, and no one would have known the difference. Like, you know, save the security money. But it's you know, it creates you know, an image there, and I'm sure when you've probably got as much Bitcoin he's got, you're not worried about paying security for a few days work there. But
I suppose not.
the
Yeah.
Core Scientific had some sort of like a 3D, you know, on at their stand as well, and they also had this like amazing car sponsoring. So Core Scientific, CleanSpark, and Marathon Digital were three of the main four sponsors for the whole event. So, and the majority of the other miners were also that we cover were also sponsoring the event as well. So that was really good. So as I said before, that the, you know, going around the stalls during the day and listening to certain speakers, and Michael Saylor's, you know, that presentation he gave, I've heard a very similar presentation numerous times, but you need that type of presentation that rallies the troops. You know, he's effectively the general leading Bitcoin from the retail perspective. He's been there, done it. You know, over 210,000 Bitcoin in MicroStrategy, and that's one of the 5 biggest wallets out there. There are other wallets, you know, plenty catching up now with the ETFs buying on a daily basis. But he set the stall out, and other companies are probably trying to follow that. We saw Marathon Digital recently, you know, purchase a significant amount of, I think it was $100 million in Bitcoin, and so, you know, that's got them to over 20,000 Bitcoin now on their balance sheet. And they actually got a message from Michael, a tweet from Michael saying, how about getting to 26.2 thousand, which is effectively 26.2 is synonymous with a marathon, 26.2 miles of the marathon. So he was saying, try and get to 26.2 thousand Bitcoin, and that will time with your title of your company there, Marathon Digital. So that was interesting to see there.
I saw the tweet, Anthony, but I didn't understand how long a marathon was. That one went right over my head. So appreciate your
42 kilometers, or I mean, it's done in imperial measurements. So, you know, a marathon is 26.2 miles. But if you convert it to kilometers, I believe it's 42 kilometers as a marathon.
Gotcha.
When I was in the military, I ran a few half marathons. I've never done a full marathon. You know, I take my hat to those people that do it, because it's a challenging distance to do that, and many people, by the time they get 3/4 of the way around, start hitting what they call the wall, and you know, your energy's sapped, and you know, you're running on very, you know, thin air out there. So it's I take my hat to all those people that do that sort of stuff there. But the once 5 o'clock, you know, and on some of the days it actually started earlier. There was many of the big sponsors were having parties, and so we were very fortunate to get invited to quite a few of these. And on day one, we managed to go to Bitfarms, Digital, and we weren't actually invited to the Cypher one, but the Cypher one was taking place at the same space as the Digital, so we were actually already there, albeit at different parts of the bar. So I think we might have sneaked into that one, Bryce. I'm not sure we were actually on the list of people going, but Tyler was very welcoming, and we managed to have a chat with Tyler, the CEO of Cypher Mining, gave us a bit of an update of what's going on there, and so it was interesting. Met a lot of you know, wonderful people in the space out there at the Big Digital party. I mean, it was like a who's who from Twitter sphere. So you know, we bumped into Bitcoin mining guy. Penny Ether was there. Sebastian came over and spent most of the day with us on that first day. Freedom by 40, A Trade. It was just you know, just constant, you know, and to have them all in one space. There's only like 40, 50 people at the Bit Digital party, but you know, it was great to, you know, have all those people there, people that we sort of like see on on YouTube or on Space, or don't even get to see them on Spaces. You're just talking to them. So now, you know, when I'm talking to them in the future, you can put a face to it. And I appreciate some of these people want to keep that anonymous, and that's certainly. But I managed to get a photograph, but that'll be staying, you know, that'll be staying well on my phone. There, I won't be publishing
There you
that
go.
until the time
And
when these people decide they want to
just
be.
a quick
Or
shout out. Speaking of photographs, shout out to Bitcoin Bella for grabbing some great pictures of all of us
absolutely,
at
yeah,
that event.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I
absolutely. No,
wanted to
she
mention,
actually
Anthony,
coordinated the photograph. Yeah, it was really good.
great. And I wanted to mention two quick things. So Tyler, shout out to him from Cypher. We might actually sneak Cypher on the channel for an interview just based on the hospitality we received at that event. That was great. I did throw up an image of the Core Scientific race car. Another really cool booth, Riot Platforms, had 3D models built of both of their locations, so Rockdale and Corsicana, which was really interesting to kind of visualize those at fully completed status. Now, Anthony, I wanted to fast forward to the political speeches. So we mentioned RFK and Trump both came out with speeches. RFK had came out. He basically said he's going to make all Bitcoin transactions anonymous. Therefore, you can't be taxed on those. And he was looking to acquire basically 4 million Bitcoin into the National Strategic Reserve, which would essentially give the US 20% or 19% of Bitcoin, which is exactly how much of the global gold reserve they hold. Now, on the flip side, Trump had said they're not going to sell any of their current 200,000 plus Bitcoin. And then he was followed up by another speaker that basically said, hey, they want to get to 1 million Bitcoin in terms of their strategic asset. So as this was all going on, obviously a lot of excitement building. Bitcoin made a great run, nearing an all-time high, but we have seen it pull back this morning. The miner stocks were down fairly considerably yesterday. Bitcoin continuing to slide today. Do you think this is a case of sell the news, Anthony? Do you think people were expecting more out of Trump? Perhaps the special guest that never showed up? What do you think is causing the pullback we're seeing this week?
Yeah, it could be a multitude of things. Again, as I say, that I was more impressed with the speech the day before, because that was very much around Bitcoin, and RFK had done does his own work, and you know, you can understand you know, exactly what he was trying to get across. Uh, Trump's obviously a big name, and you know, so certainly had the confidence in the palm of his hand. There was 8,000, more than 8,000 people in that room when he spoke, and there were people in other rooms in the conference where they had the big screens there, showing that bit live as well, because it literally was. We had to get our seats nearly two. Well, it was actually 2 hours before he turned up. And we had the whale, so we were like the VIPs of the event, and we had to be there 2 hours before. So you got the seat at 12 o'clock, I think it was, or just before 12, and he was due to come on at 2 o'clock. He didn't actually turn up till close to 3 o'clock, and so, but he was there for a significant amount of time. I think he did for 45 minutes on the stage. Um, but I think people were hoping he'd come out with a bit more. You know, he should have been the one that said we're going to make, you know, Bitcoin the reserve currency. That would have sent, you know, that would have sent as a big keynote as part of the speech. But he did say he was going to sack Gary Gensler on day one, so that probably got the biggest cheer from his actual speech. And he's going to also, is it Ross Perot? Is it the guy who's been served 12 years?
Yeah,
He's going to you
community
know,
sentence. Yeah.
he's going to release him on time served, because he believes that he's done the time that fits the crime now. I mean, he was given a 40-year sentence, and now he's already done 12 years. And so, but actually, both of those, both RK and Trump, that was on their mandate on day one to release him. So
And
that's
interestingly enough,
positive.
for those of you who don't know who Ross is, there was a lot of people wearing free Ross shirts at the
Mm.
event. This is essentially the person who set up and coordinated Silk Road, which was one of the first use cases for Bitcoin. Unfortunately, turned out to be more of a criminal platform than used for good. But nonetheless, great for Bitcoin adoption and becoming mainstream. So he's basically served 12 out of 40 years. They sentenced him for running this illegal website based on cryptocurrency. And it seems the general consensus is 12 years is enough time served. So
Yeah.
just to add a little color to that point,
I
Anthony.
think it was Senator Loomis. She come up after Trump, and I mean, to be honest with you, the conference made a little bit of a hash of what was going on. I think the communications. If you're going to say there's a special guest coming, then we expect a special guest. If you're not sure, just don't say anything, and it's a nice surprise if somebody does turn up. But I think rumors started circling very quickly that it was believed to be Elon Musk. A number of people had received text to say that his plane had departed New York and was on its way to Nashville. So there's a lot of expectation. And then literally as soon as Trump left the stage, they announced that there wasn't going to be a special guest. And effectively then, probably 7,900 people left the room. And there was 100, maybe, a small amount of people listening to actually what was, probably the biggest message in the actual conference following, because she said she had the paperwork that's going to go through to get the Bitcoin as a reserve currency, and that's going to be that's something that will go through the Senate once the election's over. So it's as I say, overall, I mean, we enjoyed ourselves there. I mean, we were able to. I mean, I think you flew back late on Sunday, and I literally just landed a few hours ago today. I didn't fly out of Nashville till late on Monday night. So, but I've spent traveling now. So I was saying to you before, I don't even know what day it is at the moment. It's but we did plan to get this one out today because we want to let people know what happened, and
Of course.
I've got time to recover after this one before we do our podcast tomorrow with Freedom by 40.
Yeah, good thing you're not running a half marathon tomorrow, Anthony. Yeah, I wanted to fast forward now to looking at what's coming up. We've got Freedom by 40 tomorrow. He's going to redo and refresh all of his tables and charts, walk us through the technical analysis on each one of these miners. We were able to figure out the screen share now, so he's able to walk us through in real time using his cursor. Then following that, you guys, we're kicking off earnings season. So Q2 for most of the publicly traded companies. Riot is going to be reporting tomorrow. We have them on the following day, so Thursday the 1st. We're going to be the first ones covering that. We've scheduled about 6 or 7 of the Q2 interviews so far, Anthony. We'll publish a calendar maybe in tomorrow's live review anyways, so you guys can start to get a feel for when earnings are coming out.
Put it on the website, Bryce, so people, when they go on the website, they can see all the events that are coming up. So,
yeah. And speaking of the website, I was going to actually say we've done some major updates there in terms of the gallery for some of these miners, so you can go and get some behind the scenes images at these locations and data centers. We've also updated the events portion, and great idea, Anthony. Yeah, we can get a calendar up there showing the upcoming earnings interviews as well. So a lot going on, you guys. Obviously a very busy week for travel. As we say, Anthony's hardly had any time to sleep, so we won't keep you, Anthony, but appreciate getting your insight into the conference. This was my first conference of any scale in the Bitcoin space. Sounds like this year is going to be Las Vegas. So we look forward to seeing as many or more of you there next year. But obviously should be a strong follow-up to the Nashville convention this year. So Anthony, I'll close it out with any final thoughts or words from your side. But great conference, great traveling with you, and another memorable trip for the books.
Yeah, it was a great conference, and a big shout out to all the followers who met us at the conference, and believe it or not, there was a lot there. We were inundated doing photographs and having discussions. Everybody's approachable in the conference. It wasn't a case of nobody's too big. I mean, not many people got to see Trump, obviously, but we got a photograph with Gary Cardone, and Jimmy. And you got one with Natalie Brunel and Michael Saylor. So these people gave their time to let some of their followers, have photographs and very, very patient about it. I mean, the line for Michael Saylor was like all around the VIP room. There must have been at least about 100, 150 people queuing up there. I wish I'd joined the queue with you and got mine done, but there'll be a time in the future I can do that. And maybe we get him on the podcast, I mean, it'd be worth reaching out to him. He has done podcasts with many providers, and he's done with Peter McCormack's podcast, what Bitcoin did, and there's a space, maybe the space for him to come on our channel and talk to the mining community, because it's a separate community. So we might reach out to him and see if we can arrange that. I'm sure he'd be, if he had some time, he'd be able to do a short podcast.
Sure. And speaking of special guests, we've got a few big name figures lined up. So our own little special guests here, we'll keep those as Easter eggs for you guys. We also met a number of key individuals in kind of fringe industries. So maybe people that support immersion technology or M&A activity or Wall Street bankers. So we're going to try and get some of these experts in their own fields on the channel to really help out from the educational standpoint as well, because there's so much going on in this industry. And with these miners continuing to push the envelope in terms of HPC, AI, Bitcoin-backed loans, immersion tanks, there's so much to learn about. So stay tuned for that, you guys. We've got a lot of great things coming down the pipe. This was just the kickoff point. And Anthony, once again, a phenomenal trip. We look forward to being back in action tomorrow, Freedom by 40, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, you guys, for our traditional live podcast each and every Wednesday. We'll see you there. If you're still watching or you went to the event, smash the like button, you guys. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you here tomorrow.